The objective of the labor inspection is to further strengthen the implementation of the visitorial and enforcement powers under the Labor Code as renumbered, towards securing a higher level of compliance with labor laws and standards and ensuring continuity and sustainability of compliance at workplaces. For this purpose, the Department of Labor and Employment delegates this function to the regional offices, with the issuance of a list of labor inspectors who are given the authority of conduct inspection, which covers all private establishments, including their branches and workplaces in the regions. The regional offices enforce labor laws and social legislation through the conduct of labor inspection, occupational safety and health investigation, and technical and advisory visit. Special inspections may be conducted as may be deemed necessary. With the provision for mobile devices and gadgets, the DOLE developed an inspection management information system. An important feature of the system is data capture and transmittal from the field in real time, as an electronic checklist is filled up through the use of mobile devices and gadgets. Data are instantly available for viewing and processing to generate reports, statistics, and summons, including real-time monitoring of decent work indicators based on the country's decent work profile. The TAV, or Technical and Advisory Visit, aims to provide assistance to the micro-establishments, or establishments that have 1 to 9 employees, to be sustainable, productive, and competitive. It also aims to transition our micro-establishments to the formal economy that is profitable, while also complying with our labor laws and occupational safety and health standards. There are different ways or modalities to avail TAV. First is the online method. Establishments can enroll in the self-paced technical and advisory modules through our learning management system. For establishments that opted to go with online, they must accomplish the modules within 1 month from the time they registered. Second is on-site. The DOLE regional, field, and provincial offices conduct on-site or face-to-face orientation for the technical and advisory services, wherein micro-establishments are invited to attend. Third is hybrid setup. Establishments can enroll in on-site sessions and attend virtual meetings or webinars using various online platforms like MS Teams, Viber, Skype, Zoom, or Google Meet.
Establishment owners carry a big responsibility to comply with labor laws, including submitting reports and providing documents like payroll records during inspections. But the manual filing process is a major challenge. They need to spend time, money, and effort to fill out forms and deliver them to the DOLE office, often dealing with traffic and delays. Sometimes, there's a long wait just to confirm if the report is accurate and complete. And it's not just employers facing difficulties. DOLE employees also struggle with limited manpower and the time-consuming task of reviewing and processing these reports. The time has come for change. What's required now is a more innovative, streamlined, and efficient process for handling compliance reports. One that will simplify life not just for businesses but also for DOLE employees. Welcome to the DOLE Online Compliance Portal, your all-in-one platform for seamless compliance submissions, designed to make compliance easier and more convenient for establishment owners. Telecommuting reports? Flexible work arrangement submissions? Reporting the 13th month pay? No problem. Even work accident or illness reports and the annual establishment report on wages, everything you need is now in one convenient portal. Plus, the DOLE Online Compliance Portal now includes the latest requirement for reporting movie and television shoots under Department Order 246, Series of 2024. All your compliance needs in one place, quick, secure, and hassle-free. With the DOLE Online Compliance Portal, registering your establishment is a breeze. Our automatic registration system ensures you are instantly compliant with OSH Standard Rule 1020. Once submitted, your certificate of registration is immediately available for download, saving you time and effort. Your establishment has been flagged for non-compliance during labor inspection. Don't worry. Required documents can be submitted quickly and conveniently. And if you're missing certain policies, like a mental health program or OSH program, we've got you covered with downloadable templates. Submit these documents directly through the portal, where DOLE inspectors will review, provide feedback, and keep you on track for compliance. With admin access on the DOLE online compliance portal, the labor inspectors can easily review the submitted reports and documents from the establishments. If further verification is needed, they can schedule an online meeting through Google Meet, all within the portal. This streamlines compliance checks, saving time and making the process more efficient for everyone. It's a smarter, more efficient way to stay compliant and keep your business running smoothly. Welcome to a new era of compliance, simplified, fast, and effective with the DOLE online compliance portal.
Magandang hapon po sa ating viewers sa Luzon, Visayas at Mindanao. Welcome po sa isa na namang makabuluhang episode ng Webinar Wednesday handog ng Department of Labor and Employment hosted by the Bureau of Working Conditions. I am Engineer Gorgonio Embelio and I will be your host for today's webinar. Last week, our Webinar Wednesday topic was all about the building inclusive and safe workplaces amid hepatitis B concerns. For today, we will be tackling the workplace technical safety, electrical wirings. And before we begin our webinar, let us start with a prayer.
Let us bow our head and put ourselves in the holiness of God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Dear Almighty and ever-loving God, we glorify and thank your name. You have showered us with so much blessings, and your presence continuously remind us of your faithfulness and guidance. May we humbly ask you to shower our speaker today of your greatest inspiration, so that he may share the most of his knowledge, his field of expertise, and to his respective topics. May we also absorb the invaluable knowledge, experiences, and put it into practice that we may learn today. Your infinite blessing would mean the success of this webinar. May we be a living witnesses of your genuine love through the enactment of the knowledge acquired through this activity. We ask this in the name of your Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Amen.
Good afternoon once again, and hello po sa ating Facebook Live participants. Pakishare na rin po ito sa inyong Facebook account and use the hashtag Webinar Wednesdays. You may also share this with your colleagues, friends, families, and para mas marami tayong magkaroon ng bagong kaalaman. For your questions, inquiries, feel free to use the comment section and rest assured that this will be addressed by our resource speaker after the lecture. We will now proceed with the discussion proper. Ang kaligtasang pangkuryente ay napakahalaga sa lugar pagawaan at pati na rin sa ating tahanan. Ang mga maling hakbang o pababayaan sa paggamit ng kuryente ay maaring magdulot ng malubhang pinsala mula sa maliit na paso hanggang sa mga pinsalang nagbabanta sa ating buhay. Ang mahusay na pagsasanay sa kaligtasan sa kuryente ay nagpapanatili ng manggagawa na ligtas at tumutulong sa pagsunod sa ating batas. Before we dive in, let me introduce to you our speaker who will be guide us today's discussion. He is a registered electrical engineer, master in management technology in De La Salle, Lipa, 37 years working experience, 5 years in Middle East, construction, petroleum industry, facility management, and peer operation. IIEE senior member. He is also a IIEE Metro Central Chapter Board of Directors, IIEE National Electrical Safety Committee member, and accredited occupational safety and health consultant from 2014 up to present. Association of Safety Practitioners of the Philippines, Chairman of the Board, previously part-time lecturer at the De La Salle, Lipa teaching Safety Management and Environmental Management, Inspector of Heavy Equipment, Safety and Health Consultant of some safety training organization. Everyone, please welcome Engineer Carlito Lito B. Peña.
Okay, good morning. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, so ayan. Okay, so okay na yung slide ko. No? Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. So thank you very much for this invitation, and I'm representing the Institute of Integrated Electrical Engineers. No, I'm from one of the member of the National Electrical Safety Committee. Now, we were talking about electrical wiring safety. So we all know that electrical wiring safety is very critical in all establishment. Kahit nasabi natin, regardless the sizes of the establishment, even if it's a micro, even the small businesses that often face risk, no? Medyo usually, karamihan nangyayari dyan. Ang mga risk natin is more on overloaded circuits or sometimes makeshift lang tayo, no? But yung mga setup natin yan, it's also including the larger operation. So, minsan nagka-grapple siya more on the aging infrastructures and some complex system. So, this poor wiring can lead to fires, injuries, downtime, or some legal consequences. Kaya when we prioritize safety standards, so ito ay hindi lang compliance sa tinitingnan natin. Dapat we need to have some commitment, no, in protecting the lives and also the asset, and also to have a business continuity. So by addressing all of this, so we need to be proactive and we make sure that progress never compromise safety. Okay? And syempre, yun naman ang ano natin eh. We want to do business para alam natin na maging profitable yung ating business. Kaya dapat, so pangalagaan din natin yung, and we want to implement all that safety. Okay? So yung topic natin ngayon, we will dwell more on workplace technical safety or more on electrical wiring, or we call it electrical safety. Okay? So ayan. So an objective natin this afternoon, for this talk is to understand, no, the importance of electrical wiring safety. Okay, and we will recognize also what is the role of the committee. No, ano ba yan? Kasi dapat all the establishment must have we call it the Occupational Safety and Health Committee. Okay, kasi kung everyone has a safety program and the electrical safety is part of that Occupational Safety and Health program natin, so dapat may nag-oversee niya. So andyan yung tinatawag natin yung the OSH committee ng bawat establishment. And also, ano ba yung role ng workers and the employers, okay, para with this implementation of safety. Then, we will have learn some tips, no, of the electrical safety across these workplaces, from the micro, no, from the small, from the medium, and from the large establishment. So I will be discussing din yung mga requirement kung with the new DO, no, the DO 252, kung ilang safety officer ba yung mga kailangan natin in establishment para makasiguro tayo nung implementation natin ng safety. Okay? And the outline of my presentation, so I will be giving some introductions. Then after that, discussion what is the importance of electrical wiring safety, the role of OSH committee, the role of the workers and the employers, then some practical tips. No? Then the last part is emergency response in electrical accident. in case may nangyari na, no? Ano ba dapat nating gagawin? So we give you some practical tips lang naman in case of emergency. Okay? So here, as an introduction, that we all know that medyo marami talaga yung sabi nga, 1,000 people killed, no? Or injured each year due to electrocution. Medyo marami yung fatalities natin dito. Sometimes unreported siya. Kasi most common natin, yung tinatawag nating, we call it the AC because we have two type of electricity, the AC and the DC, no? The alternating current and the direct current. And most of us dealing with the alternating current. Ito yung karamihan na nasa offices natin, nasa bahay natin. And most of these talaga, sabi nga natin, even na meron tayong mga right personnel, even the electrician itself, meron pa rin mga nangyayaring mga injuries or aksidente through this electrical works. Okay? And electricity is the number one source of fire. Okay? Ito lang, it's just an statistics. Yung statistics ng from the ito ay galing mismo sa PSA, no? So parang what are the top agent injuries, no? Kung makikita natin, itong mga top agent injuries nito, yung mga machine and equipment and even yung mga plant and machine, the operators and the assemblers, this is dealing more on electricity. Okay? Lahat yan, hindi naman makakatakbo lahat yung mga equipment natin na yan, no? Nagamit ng mga small establishment of up to large establishment kung hindi naman nagdi-deal tayo ng any electricity on that, di ba? And also reported during the time of the Bureau of Fire in the 2024, the most common daw na cause ng fire related sa electricity. Usually, broken electrical wires and exposed electrical wiring. Yun yung mga karamihang main causes. Okay? Then, we need to be on top, no? Dapat safety first. Now, when we define safety, it refers to the physical or environmental conditions of work or employment. Ito yung tinatawag natin yung ating workplaces, which substantially comply with the provision of the standard. Sabi nga natin, nandiyan naman talaga lahat ng risk. But to be safe, kailangan lang natin ma-mitigate at ma-address natin, no? Kung ano man yung mga risk na yan. Okay? And when we said electrical safety, it's a recognizing hazard associated with the use of electrical energy. And with this electrical energy, we need to take precaution so that hazards do not cause injury or death. So may reference dito tayo. One of the reference ng mga electrical engineer dyan, itong NFPA, no? Itong National Fire Protection Association. So 70E refer to electrical kasi medyo mga iba-ibang number siya. Okay? References. And we advocate in IIEE the electrical safety starts with me. Sabi nga, being the electrical practitioners. And also, all of us, syempre, all safety must start with us. Okay? So, just discuss what is the basic electricity. When we say electricity, it can be defined as the flow of electrons along conductor. And mostly, sabi nga, yung Ohm's law natin is the voltage, the current, and the resistance. Ito lang naman yung pinaka-common definition natin ng electricity. We called it the Ohm's law. No? Yung voltage kasi, ito yung most common na ginagamit natin. If they have to 220 volts, 230 volts, or in the facility itself, yung mga large establishment using 460 volts or some higher voltage pa. No? This is the pressure or force that carries the current. Okay, yung current, ito yung amperage. Ito yung mga natin na mayroong mga capital A, no? That's we called it ampere. This is ampere. So that is the amount of electricity that flows, no? Yung resistance naman, ito yung parang pumipigil. Ito yung nagre-resist natin para mag-slow down yung flow of electricity. Okay? And here in the Philippines, ang reference lahat ng mga electrical practitioner is the Philippine Electrical Code. So this is the adopted and the standard contained therein shall be considered the safety standard. So ito rin yung reference ng using with the Department of Labor and Employment. So lahat yan yung pinaka-Bible ng all electrical practitioner in the Philippines, the Philippine Electrical Code. So, intindihin nga natin, saan ba nagsisimula itong kuryente? Actually, meron tayong tinatawag na generating, generating plant kung saan talaga nagsisimula, pinuproduce yung kuryente. And usually, ito kasi typically generate siya ng mga planta na iba-iba yung mga resources. Meron yung coal, may mga fossil fuel, yung iba naman mga renewable, Although yung iba naman nuclear, pero wala pa naman tayo rito, no? So, nag-generate lang yan. Doon nila pinoproduce yung kuryente, no? In different, even the renewable, mga hydro, mga solar. So, nagpo-produce sila. Tapos yung napoproduce nila, tinatransmit nila yan through the transmission line. Okay? So, medyo mataas na voltahe yan. Okay? Para hanggang sa makarating talaga sa tinatawag natin dito during the distribution, ito na yung mga ginagamit natin, even in our residences, or even in our offices, or even ito sa ating mga establishment itself, no? Kung ano yung kailangan natin. The most common, 230, micro, small businesses, pagka medyo malaki, talagang meron dyan na asking for 34.5 kb, no? 38, 13.8, 4.16 kb, yun yung mga ginagamit. So it depends. So yun lang, tinatransmit lang how the electricity generated at kung paano tinatransmit sa atin, no? Hanggang sa magamit natin. Okay? So what are the importance of the electrical wiring safety? So first, what is hazard? Hazard is the unsafe practices and the unsafe conditions that if not controlled, it may result in the occurrence of an incident or accident. And according to H.W. Hendrich study, the most common naman, no, alam na ito ng ibang safety practitioner itself, that 88% contributed unsafe practices. So ito yung mga gawa ng mga tao, behavior to, no? While the 10%, that is the unsafe condition. Okay, ito na yung environment natin. Okay? So here, we have so many hazard, no? We have so many occupational safety and health hazard causes risk to the workers itself, no? Even sabi nga natin, even there's some immediate risk, okay? Nagko-cause ng mga injuries and accident, okay? But here, sabi nga, that's include we call it the electrical hazard, okay? So here, pag sinabi natin electrical hazard, that is all associated with electrical circuits or component. Okay? Ayan. Then when we talk about electrically safe working condition, it is a state in which an electrical conductors or the wiring or circuit part has been disconnected from energized part. So, yun daw pinaka-safety talaga eh. It must be disconnected from the source. Na kung maaari talaga naka-off siya, no? Naka-turn off siya, naka-alis. Kung if it's plugged, naka-unplug siya. So that's electrical safety. Okay, wala siya talagang connection. Even it is locked, tagged, no? In accordance with the established standard. Then we tested it to ensure that the absence of the voltage and grounded if determined necessary. Talaga masasabi natin talagang walang zero voltage talaga. Yan ang tinatawag nating electrically safe working condition. Okay? Now, in electrical hazard, this is a dangerous condition such that contact or equipment failure can result in electrical shock. No? It can be arc flash, burn, thermal burn, or blast. Okay? So, ito yan. I-discuss lang natin what is electrical shock, no, between the electrocution, and I will give you an idea about the arc flash. But some establishment, kasi yung ibang mga establishment, like the micro, small, or medium, baka hanggang electrical shock ng electrocution, it depends na sa mga gamit nila, no? But most common, the large one, ito na, they experience ito mga arc flash hazard. Kasi syempre, pagka if you're a large establishment, medyo malalaki na rin yung load mo, or depende rin sa iyong operation. So, baka ito, it's considered na natin yung mga arc flash natin. Okay? So, the electrical shock, no, it occurs when the human body become part of an electric circuit, no? That has a sufficient potential difference to overcome the body resistance. Kaya lang minsan, ano ba yung nagiging epekto sa atin? Yung electrocution naman refers to the fatal injuries caused by electric shock. So sometimes, sabi nga natin, the current passes through the body. So disrupting the vital organ. Eh, ang mahirap kasi niyan, when it go through the heart or the nervous system, sometimes nagiging fatal siya. It's resulting to death. Okay? So a dangerous condition such that contact or equivalent failure can result in electric shock, arc flash, burn, thermal burn, or blast. Okay? So ito yung arc flash naman, between the arc flash and the arc blast, no? Ito siya. So yung arc flash naman, this is the thermal explosion from the electrical arc. Yun dun mismo galing sa source itself, no? So usually, ang init niyan about 35,000 Fahrenheit, no? Napaka ano talaga, kayang tumunaw talaga, no? Then yung effect, yan na, yung high energy arc create explosive pressures. Ito na yung tinatawag nating arc flash. Okay? So ito yung mga effect. kung sakali, no, na we encounter electrical injuries, no? Ito, yung injuries natin due to electrocution, through burn, no, yung mga thermal burn natin, or through arc flash, or yung mga wound niya. So ito yan, yung mga nagiging epekto natin. Pag sinabing entrance wound, sabihin doon pumasok yung kuryente, yung exit wound, doon lumabas yung kuryente. Sometimes talaga ito yung medyo there's a possibility na nabubuhay mismo yung tao. Kaya lang merong injury. Okay? So sometimes naman, nagkakaroon ng mga internal injuries, no? Yung mga involuntary muscle contractions, yun na mismo yung nagiging epekto, nagiging permanent na siya. Kasi minsan pag natutunaw yung balat, pag na ano na siya, no, nag-heal na. So yun ay nagiging permanent ano niya, effect na sa kanya. Okay? So ito naman, no, on the right side is armed with the third-degree burn, no, from the high voltage line. Okay? Kaya sabi nga sa kuryente talagang mahirap biruin, ano. So this is some ano naman effect ng mga electrical burns, no, yung contact from electrical burns. The knee on the left was energized and the knee on the right was grounded, no? Then yung arcing effect niya, yung mga electrical burns, ito naman yung pinaka nasunog mismo yung kamay. Okay? So this is just only an example of paano yung sa arc flash, no? Kung sakali man. Ito, may experience natin to sa mga ano na to, large establishment, no? Yan, makikita natin yung naging epekto, no? Okay. So later, di-discuss natin even wearing the personal protective equipment, no? Now, what are the effect of electrical current on the human body? Okay, then first, paano ba? How the electric current enter in our body? Usually, typical point, usually yung kamay nga natin tsaka paa. Kasi usually yung mga personal natin, no, or even the workers, no, dealing with electricity, usually yung typical point kamay natin, yung manahawak. Yung iba naman usually yung paa natin, or pagka nakakatapak tayo ng mga wire natin na sinasabi natin na merong nanabalatan siya, no. Mostly that's the typical contact. Okay, yung ating common entry point is the hand and the feet. Okay, then yung mga moisture din, no, moisture beneath the ring or watch will decrease the skin resistance and allow current flow. Okay? Kasi yung human body, no, resistance natin, medyo pagkatuyo, hindi talaga basa, medyo mas mataas yung resistance natin. Bumababa talaga yon pagka medyo basa. Kaya alam naman natin, kaaway talaga ng kuryente yung tubig. No? And our body, mostly composed of water. So water is a conductor of electricity. So current travels easily. Di ba? And pagka nag-travel talaga yung electricity na yan, no, naghahanap siya ng pinaka-least path niya to complete the circuit, and always going to the ground. When we call it the ground or the earth itself. Okay? Depende kung saan yung tayo nakapatong. Ayan. Then this path could be through the upper limbs or between upper and lower limbs. So if this includes the heart and respiratory system, so it can result in serious injury. Okay? So yan yung mga how the electrical current enters in our body. Okay? Then, usually, it depends, no? Ano ba yung magiging epekto sa atin? Yung severity and effect of that electric shock. Depende yung pathways, depende yung amount of current, no? Gaano pa kataas yung amperahe niyan, yung length and time, yung exposure natin, kung gaano katagal. Whether yung skin natin, kung basa or tuyo, di ba? So, water, great conductor, allows current to flow more easily in wet conditions and through wet skin. Although potential difference determines whether the body resistance will be overcome, the damaging factor in electric shock is always the current flow. Okay? Kasi with this current, 0.1 ampere or we call it 100 milliampere lang through the body is generally considered fatal level. Okay? Kaya kung makikita natin, when we look for all appliances, use even equipment, no, yung mga ginagamit natin sa office, may mga ano yan may mga wattage tapos converted with that voltage, no, based on the Ohm's law formula, nakukuha natin ano yung current. Okay? Pag meron ka nakita dyan ng 1, capital A, so that 1 ampere or equivalent to 1,000 milliamp. Imagine, with that equipment, no, doon sa office lang, kung sakaling na kuryente tayo dyan, ano yung magiging epekto? Okay, here's some table, no, kung sakali makikita natin. So, 1 ampere is equivalent to 1,000 milliampere. So, dito pa lang, makikita natin yung epekto. Okay? Pag tayo ay nakuryente, ito yung current na pumasok sa katawan natin, and this is become the action. Even the 9 to 30 milliamperes, the freezing current or let go range, no? Individual cannot let go, but can be thrown away from the circuit if extensor muscles are stimulated. At pagdating dito sa point ng 50 to 150 milliamperes or 0.5, no? Extreme pain, respiratory arrest na kagad. Okay? Severe muscle contraction and death is possible. Kaya doon pa lang makikita na natin how ano yung nagiging epekto ng current mismo in the human. Okay? So, electric shock occurs when the human body becomes part of an electrical circuit that has a sufficient potential difference to overcome the body's resistance. Okay? So, ito yung mga causes ng electric shock. Usually, pag tayo ay na-contact into energized source, depende if it is a live part, no? If major hazard naman, so nagkakaroon tayo ng mga electric shock or burn. Yung mga grounded metal, di ba? Yung mga wire na overhead. Minsan wala mga balat yan, di ba? So yan yung mga causes, yung mga electrical hazard. Okay? Contact with energy source natin, minsan doing some work, no? Yung mga overhead power lines carry extreme high voltage. Okay? Yan, yung mga use ng mga ladder or suspension. Okay? Then here, yung paggamit ng mga wiring itself, no? Kasi itong mga wire nito, may mga sizes to. Okay? So the sizes, it depends doon sa load capacity natin. Okay? Syempre, pagka medyo palaki ng palaki yung kable, yung wiring, ibig sabihin, medyo mas magastos talaga yun. Okay? So the most common, pag sinasabi nating number 14 AWG, or we call it the 2.0 mm squared, that is the size, ang capacity niya na pwedeng dalhin ay 15 ampere. So in an electrical installation, the most common, ito ginagamit lang talaga to sa ilaw, no? Lighting load lang siya. Okay, then we have a number 12 AWG or 3.5 mm squared. So pwede na tayong magkaroon rito ng mga outlet. Okay, pero yung outlet natin medyo limited din. When we compute it, ilan ba lang yung pwede. Okay, pag normal yan, makakaya ng 8 or 10, no? Na sama-sama sa isang circuit. But if we have some separate equipment like sa bahay, if we have an electrical range, pag naman sa office natin, meron tayong isang equipment na malaking equipment na even the air conditioning unit. No? So yan, isang sirkito lang talaga yan. At kinukumpit na natin talaga yung capacity. At that time, we will size up. Ano ba talaga yung kailangan nating size na cable? Depende rin sa load. And the most common, ginagamit na yung extension. Pag extension ng extension, pare-pareho naman ang size. Kaya pinaka-the best talaga rito is when we use this one, kailangan natin talaga ng electrical practitioner talaga, no? Para ma-compute talaga, para safe tayo. Ano pa talaga yung mga gagamitin natin size. Okay? So, another common one, based on ito yung mga violation din to, no? Based on the Philippine Electrical Code, yung mga loose electrical connections, yung cord natin, may right insulation, sometimes yung cord natin sa office, no? Extension, nadadaan-daanan, nagugulong-gulungan mismo ng natin, nung upuan natin. Kasi pag nagugulong-gulungan yan, so mismo may protection siya na PVC o yung nakabalot mismo sa wire. Pag nabalatan yon, may expose yung copper natin. Okay, at the time, pwede na tayo may makuryente. Okay? And usually, ito yung mga plugs, 3-prong, hindi ungrounded, pupulin lang. Or sometimes yung paggamit natin ng ating mga electrical hand tools, no? Ayan, kung how we commonly misuse, no? Or mga defective equipment. Alam natin defective na, so ginagamit. Okay? That is all the electrical hazard. Okay? Sa bahay naman, to most common. Even yung plancha, okay? Yung mga loose connection pa rin. Kasi baka pag sa bahay kasi, pag lang tayo ng dagdag, yung cord natin with right insulation, yung equipment natin running over capacity. Okay? Then, tapos unsupervised charging ng cellphone na iniiwan natin sa gabi. No? Ayan. Octopus connection. Pag sinabing octopus connection, ito lang yung napakamarami. No? Ito yung, this is the example of octopus connection yung nandito sa baba. Okay? Na, isa lang yung dapat na isaksak. In-extend ang in-extend. Kasi with this octopus connection na maraming nakasaksak, naka-plug. So, ang cost ko magiging overloading. Balik lang kasi yung wire loop extension natin. So, iinit siya. So, that's start. Tapos even even the electric fan, okay, or yung mga gamit pa natin sa bahay. Okay? Ayan. Then dito, okay, what's wrong with this? Yung mga panel board natin, okay? The most common, ayan, no? Kasi no dead front and cover. So ito, hindi nako-coveran, exposed yung mga cover nito. So ibig sabihin, it's an electrical hazard. Tapos ito, nandito yung map. Alam natin, siguro yung map, ginamit sa napasa yan, no? Tapos nakasandal mismo rito sa ating electrical panel. Okay? Ito namang isa, walang directory. Hindi natin alam kung anong connection itong mga circuit breaker ito, even the main breaker itself. Okay? So another one, to. Siguro common talaga to, even in the micro or small establishment, no? Yung mga electrical room, ginagawang stock room. Okay? So ito, in case of any emergency na meron tayong i-off, hindi na natin easily ma-access. And also, this cost electrical hazard din. No? Kaya kung makikita natin, tingnan natin yung mga electrical room natin or nasan ba yung ating mga panel board natin. Okay? Or katulad to, ini-stackan pa to ng mga, ano siya, no? Yung pang mga acetylene, di ba? Okay? So, this pose, ano talaga to? Hazard. Okay? So, electrical room used as a storage room. Okay? Ito naman, the most common, when we check yung ating mga wiring, mga panel, ito, we need to determine din. Maybe there's some loose terminal breaker. No? Ito kasi common, ito yung mga example ng mga inspection na ginawa. No? Ito, usually yan, nag-loose yung mga terminal breakers, ng terminal ng mga breaker. Minsan, may mga two different sizes ng wire connected in one terminal of the line. Kung makikita natin, papacheck natin to sa electrical practitioner talaga, there's some violation na ng mga Philippine ng ating based on the Philippine Electrical. Okay? Then, ayan, mga rusted panel board, no? Yung mga enclosure natin. Okay? Medyo marumi, okay? Yung loob, hindi siya na-maintain. Okay? Tapos messy yung wiring. Ayan. Hindi organized ng maigi, no? Tapos may mga blank siya nawawala. No? Then yon medyo madumi. So with that, we need to also take care of that. No? Kasama dapat yan talaga sa mga proper maintenance na ginagawa natin. Okay. Ito pa. Okay? Yung usually, yung mga splicing ng wire, doon mismo ginagawa sa loob mismo ng panel itself. No? Kasi may mga proper ano talaga tayo dyan. We need to do it in the splicing box, no? Para yun yung mga rule natin dito. Okay? Then, ayan. Minsan naman, merong electrical room na kailangan hindi talaga yung room temperature at saka kung sobrang init. So, we need to provide an exhaust fan. Yung ating mga transformer, baka may mga step transformer na ginagamit, tapos naka-open siya. So, dapat yan, mga yan, naka-cover. Okay? Ayan. Yung mga exposed wire, okay? Rusted panel, common siya, no? Okay? So, no conduit runs installed for wires, so basta niladlad na lang yung wire. Okay? Then, ito, usually nga, loose terminal and breaker, then marumi yan, yung mga splicing sa loob ginagawa. Okay, ayan, mga example natin. Okay, so ito naman, walang grounding. At saka yung box niya, hindi, ano siya, yung enclosure, pag sinabi kasing NEMA 3R, ito yung dapat train type to. Dapat to, ano siya, kung panlabas siya, ay dapat kahit na mapasa, hindi papasok doon sa pisano. Okay? Yung 2D. Then ito, when we inspect, okay, sa mga even micro, small establishment, no? Yung mga burn convenience outlet due to overload. So, deteriorated wire insulations, full termination, and deteriorated devices. Okay? So, ito naman, Baka naman yung panel cord, hindi ka agad na-access. So, mas naka-display mga ako. So, ito naman, dari sa lababo. So, dapat kasi ang may rule tayo dyan na dapat naka-GFCI yan, yung ground fault circuit. Na anytime, sakaling mapasa, matititay ka agad, automatic, may off ka agad yung circuit. Okay? Example yun. So, mga causes ng accident, electric shock, facilities, exposure mga charge part ng mga electrical machine and traffic, short circuit, sinabing short circuit, nagka-ticket yung line 1 type. Yan, mga overloading, yung mga personnel natin dealing with electricity or the electrical practitioner wearing the metal object, mga watches, necklace, and ring, and yung working in a wet and damp location. Okay, isa yung mga plug natin, hindi nagmamatch sa outlet. Wala siyang grounding, 3-prong, puputulin na lang. Okay? Ayan. Now, what is the role of the Occupational Safety and Health Committee, which is very important to determine and also implement kung ano pa talaga yung program ng isang establishment, which is very important. Kasi ito yung mismong sabi nga natin, to address everything, lahat yan. So dapat alam natin yung role ng ating occupational safety and health. Or, ang question niya, if your company, meron bang organized occupational safety and health unit? Kasi it's based on the Rule 1040. So, dapat meron tayong organized occupational safety and health committee in every establishment. So, the OSH committee is responsible for planning and developing policies related to all matters of safety and health. Kung baga sa natin, ito yung parang mga congress yung gumagawa ng ito yung mga nagpaplano. Okay? So, nag-develop tayo ng mga policies, rules, regulations. Okay? The committee itself, yan yung pinaka-trabaho niya. All of that related in that implementation of safety and health. Okay? Lalong-lalo na pag the most common talaga rito, talagang dapat part ng program natin, yung dealing with electrical wiring safety. Okay, so mostly ano ba yung pinaka-responsibilities ng committee? Sila yung, sabi nga, sila yung nagpa-plan and develop ng mga program for an accident prevention. Okay? Then, sila rin yung direct na gumagawa ng mga rules and regulations and and this committee need to conduct safety committee meeting at least once a month. Mayroong meeting na isang beses sa isang buwan. Okay? So, dictated na muna batas na standard. Okay? Then, the committee itself is the one who will review yung mga inspection, accident investigation, and the implementation of program. Okay? Dapat, yung mga pinakita natin kayo ng mga violation, it's been reported. Okay? It's been recognized. Kung may report yun, dapat the committee, dinidiscuss nila. Okay? And the committee itself ensure that the occupational safety and health program is communicated to all employees and workers. So, dapat nakaskade yun. Nagkaroon ng orientation sa workers. Then, make sure that the safety and health committee nag-submit ng report ng mga meeting at activities sa employer. Doon sa mismo, sabi nga natin, kahit the owner, the committee itself is the one who will assist the government sa mga inspection of properties. May bumating tayo mga inspector from any from DOLE, NGO, or any agencies. Okay? And the safety committee is the one who organizes and supervises the safety and health training ng mga empleyado. Okay? Even the management itself, kung ano ba mga training ang kailangan nila related to the implementation of safety. And the safety committee will develop an emergency and disaster preparedness and response manual, okay, for that establishment. So maintain disaster contingency plan, i-organize yung mga emergency services units to handle emergency and disaster situation. Yun nga, paano kung sa isang workplaces natin may nakuryente, how we will react. Diba? Paano natin siya dadalhin sa hospital or how we will treat it, first aid case lang ba siya. So dapat nandun yan, kasama yan sa ating mga emergency. Okay? And what is the composition of the safety committee? Okay? So we have the chairperson, the secretary, and the member. The chairperson is the employer or its representative, pero dapat nasa top management din. Then the secretary itself is the appointed safety officer of the workplace. Then may member. Ito, pagka kasama dapat ang occupational health personnel, no? Kung nasa large company ka or kung nandun ka sa, sabi nga, one of the requirement doon sa number of workers mo, merong OH personnel. So dapat, if you have an OH personnel, so automatic member siya dapat ng Safety and Health Committee. Okay? Then meron dapat na dalawang workers. Okay? Now, if the company is an organization, may sinasabing mga labor organization, whoever the president, no? Or kasi yung pinakamataas na automatic member siya. Okay? Pagka hindi naman, wala namang mga organization, hindi labor organized naman, at least the rank and file. So ang kailangan natin dito is a workers representative to represent the workers itself to the Safety and Health Committee. Kasi dito, dinidiscuss mismo. Okay? Ito. So, with this committee, what is the role of the workers and employers? So, ito yung role ng workers. Dapat, they need to participate in all occupational safety and health activities. Okay? Then, the workers must use the provided safeguards and the safety devices as instructed. Lalong-lalo na yung mga pinapagamit natin, no? Yung when we orient in the electrical safety. Okay? Comply with the safety instruction and signage. Observe the prescribed steps of the cases of the occupational safety and health emergencies. Report any imminent danger or dangerous occurrence. Okay? And also, they need to participate. Pagka na-appoint siyang member ng committee, they need to participate in the development and implementation of the occupational safety and health program. And the workers ensure that the work environment is free from hazardous conditions that could cause death, illness, or physical harm. And the workers must prevent or abate disabling injury, imminent danger, or dangerous occurrence. Okay? Ayan. So, yung workers then, pwede siya mag-refuse. No? May right siya to refuse the unsafe work. Okay? Without threat or reprisal from the employer. Kaya lang, dapat lang, ang condition natin, there's an imminent danger. Okay? Nag-exit siya sa workplace. For example, sa electrical, papakyatin natin ng poste, o kaya working in height, hindi naman natin binigyan ng harness, pwede siya tumanggi. Okay? O kaya meron siyang gagawin niya, live tapping. Tapos, hindi naman natin pinag-provide talaga ng gloves, electrical gloves. So, pwede siyang tumanggi. So, nakikita niya, there's an imminent danger. Okay? And also, may stopping sport with dole, okay? Tapos, hindi pa nagagawa yung corrective action. So, makaagad. So, pwede siyang tumanggi na hindi siya okay? Take note that the employees, workers affected by an imminent danger situation may be temporarily assigned. Pwede siyang namang i-assign doon sa ibang area of job. Provided that there are no safety and health issues that people dapat concerned doon sa area ng okay? So, dapat okay yung pinaka-hazard na assessment na. Okay? And another one, yung report, workers encouraged to report all accident. Okay? Pwede niyang mag-report sa employer or diretso sa board. Okay? So, they shall be free from any form of retaliation for such accident. Then the workers can report accident through DOLE, through various convenient communication. Okay? Pwedeng ito yung hotline niya, the 1349, or can submit a report nearest to DOLE regional or provincial field or satellite office na may jurisdiction doon sa incident. Okay? Yeah. For the employer itself, even the employer, the contractor, the subcontractor, or any person who manages and control or nagsusupervise work na yon, trabaho na yon. So, ito yung kanyang mga role. Dapat nakaregister siya sa DOLE, it's the 1210, tapos ino-oversee niya yung development and implementation ng course program. Sinusuportahan niya dapat yung course code. Okay? Then, kino-communicate, nagkakaroon ng job safety instruction and training bago on-start. Hindi na kino-communicate. Napaintindi ko, paano yung makahasay, yung doon sa mismo work process. Okay? Ayan. So, dapat ina-identify and manage the even the exposure, the safety hazard, okay, even sa any physical, structural, or any economic hazard, and social business. Moving electrical works, medyo ano talaga yan, maraming reason. And the employer must provide the employees with the appropriate devices that do TPE. Dapat provide the employer free of charge. And the employer need to comply with the digital safety and that standard. Okay? And including yung mga medical examination. And they need to participate also in the processes. They will organize, plan, implement, or go for evaluate kung ano man yung action kailangan gampanan dito ng mga budgets so in action na ng components. Okay? Ayan. So, in-institute din yung mga emergency plans. Okay? Ni-establish yung mga communication system for the monitoring and coordinating. And ensure an appropriate safety and health personnel and facilities to protect COVID-19 of all employees. Okay? And ito yung usually pagka kailangan i-report ng employer pagka nagkaroon ng work stoppings, okay, na inisyu ng safety office. And we comply with all the reportorial requirements, yung mga legal requirement na kailangan natin i-report. Yearly, may monthly, quarterly, okay, yan yung role ng employer. Now, what are the practical tips? Okay, for the micro, small, medium, large establishment. No? So here, dapat i-know how to evaluate electrical hazard. Okay? We can do, with this, dapat alam natin, no? We need to look for the, ito yung mga hazard na present here. Then we need to evaluate yung seriousness ng hazard. We need to decide to take action. Okay? Kailangan hindi natin i-ignore or hindi para sa walang mga. Okay? So, how do you evaluate the risk? Okay, so, tignan natin. So, there is a risk of fire and a risk on electric shock. Okay, so yun lang naman eh. Usually nga, ito yung mga maintenance natin, yung electrical practitioner natin, supervisor. So, kailangan ma-determine and ma-assess nila, okay, yung mga tool na yan, okay, para yung assessment of electrical. Kasi pinakamahirap dito, ano yan eh, kita lang natin pero yung effect ko kasi matindi. Okay, so dapat we need to address. So there's some different tools. No, we can do some electrical inspection, we can have some electrical safety audit, we can do the job hazard analysis. Pwede naman yung HIRAP, hazard identification risk assessment, sometimes through accident incident investigation, so na-evaluate natin mismo yung electrical hazard itself. Okay, so sa safety inspection, ayan, yung purpose ng electrical safety inspection and audit, to identify yung mga potential hazards, mga electrical situations, and provide corrective actions for this situation. Okay? Yan. So, tinitingnan natin, pag yung audit naman, yung mga systematic procedure, no? When we evaluate it, ano ba yung mga potential hazard? Then, we will recommend what is the measures to minimize and eliminate this hazard. No? Yung mga electrical-related parts, yung mga shocks, electrical earthing, we pinpoint the problem itself in electrical equipment to prevent shutdown time and the damage itself. Ang gusto natin is discontinuity. Huwag natin hintayin mangyari yan. Okay? We can do it with the safety inspection and electrical audit. We can do the job hazard analysis. Okay? So we review the step-by-steps. Okay? Then we check the unsafe act, the unsafe condition, then how we will eliminate and control all that hazard. So yan, may mga form naman yan. Example na yan. So this is a job analysis, step by step, and then yung potential hazard, ano ba yung effect, then we know the control measures. Okay? Then another one, yung conduct ng investigation. So here, we will determine how and why it failed. No? Bakit nangyari yun? Remember that any incident accident investigation, we will not want to put it, yung blame, intended to put blame. No? Gusto lang natin, ma-address natin, ano ba yung tinatawag nating root cause talaga. Sa root cause, we can do the 5 whys approach, no? Yung why, then the Ishikawa diagram or the change analysis. Okay, hindi ko na elaborate yan. Ito lang yung pinakaano natin, yung 5 whys, no? We ask question, no? Para hanggang malaman natin yung pinag-ugat. Okay? So here, Another one, in controlling all these hazards, we all know naman, hierarchy is the engineering, administrative, and PPE. Okay? Ayan. Yan naman yung hierarchy, no? Engineering muna kasi we can do some elimination or substitution. Then, administrative control. Yung last defense natin talaga is the PPE na mismo. Okay? Engineering control, yan, yung mga electrical protection method natin. Dapat yung mga high voltage natin, merong signages, no? Yung mga equipment natin, may mga guide siya. Okay? Maintain natin yung mga safe distance from the overhead power lines, staying away. No? Kailangan sundin natin yung table. Ito yung mga minimum clearance, depende sa voltahe. Okay? So, from 10 feet to 45 feet. Okay? Then also, in every time we work, any electricity, may gagawin tayo, make sure we do the lockout, tag-out. Pag sinabing lockout, tag-out, yung mismong panel natin or the circuit breaker, pwede nating i-lock mismo para walang makapag-on. We put that tag para malaman natin, no? Naglagay lang tayo kung note doon, no? Kung anong ginagawa natin. Okay? So, ito yung lockout, tag-out. And also, another one is the permitting system. Okay? Kaya, then, grounding system, we make sure, no, for the protection based on the Philippine Electrical Code ruling, no? Grounding and bonding. Then, yung mga ground fault current interrupter. Okay? So, ito kasi yung mga fast acting device, nasisense pa lang niya. No, pagka yung line 1, line 2, unbalanced na yung flow ng current doon, no? Pag nag-difference ng 0.05 lang, i-off niya na kaagad yung system mismo, yung breaker itself. Okay? Para maging safe na yung personnel itself. Ayan, we need to identify, i-mark natin yung mga breaker, okay? Yung mga disconnect, meron nakalagay kung ano mga proper labeling. Okay? Meron itong mga warning. Ito yung sa arc flash, mga siguro medium and large establishment na to, no? Ito yung kinocompute, yung arc flash mismo, ano yung magiging effect nandito kung gaano kalayo ang lalayo ka dapat doon sa ano, no, sa panel mismo itself, kung ano lang yung pinakamalapit mo, no? So ito yung mga computation. Okay, technical. Ito, meron tayong tinatawag na yung mga limited area. So ito yung based on that computation ng isang electrical practitioner, no? Yung dapat walang mga personnel on that boundary. Okay? So ito, yung we need to inspect ano pa talaga yung ating mga outlet na gagamitin, yung mga receptacle, yung mga connector, yung mga wiring natin, yung mga plugs natin. Okay? And mostly, electrical works, medyo may ano yan eh. Meron mang working in height din, no? And also yung mga equipment natin, small tools, machine guarding, no? Pagka nasa labas naman tayo, traffic control, doing our electrical works, no, sa mga poste. Okay, and also, any electrical works, we need to allow only qualified men to work on electrical apparatus. Ito yung mismong inano natin. Talagang electrician natin or electrical engineer, no? So alam natin na nakakaalam and skilled talaga doon sa trabaho yun. And always observe strictly the applicable rules of the Philippine Electrical Code. Okay, ayan. Yung mga simple to follow lang nito natin. Make sure that any installation, even a temporary electrical wiring or apparatus, make every job for everyone. Nangyayari kasi usually nagiging pang-samantagal. Okay, so dapat in any electrical work, kahit sabihin natin temporary yan, we make sure na dapat safe siya for everyone. Then always observe the applicable rules on the Philippine Electrical Code, no? Never breach a fuse with wire or metal. Ito yung mga jumper. Okay, then have a regular periodic electrical inspection conducted by qualified, experienced, and trained electrical practitioner, okay, or personnel. Okay, always use proper measurement. Ito yung tinatawag nating tester, no? Electrical tester. Okay, ayan. Yung mga preventive, during the inspection, makikita natin, no? We need to check the wires, mga movable wires, mga switches, mga electrical machines, equipment provided with a complete insulation cover. So pag nakikita na natin na doon pa lang na medyo nababalatan na, hindi proper, so we need to report it or address na kaagad yun. No? Kailangan tumawag tayo ng electrical practitioner. Okay? So before using electrical equipment, we need to check the grounding. Okay? Then yung mga using the welding machine, check natin yung mga electrode holders, yung mga safety devices, yung mga tools natin. Okay? And any related on that electrical. Okay? And also, apply the two-person rule. Ito yung we call it the body-body system. Okay? So, dapat pag nag-working in electrical, body-body system siya. Okay? So, kailangan yung isa habang nakakatrabaho, kailangan visual sila, no? Nagkakakitaan. Okay? Then, para kung sakali na may mangyari, maka-response ka agad yung isa. Dapat trained din sila to conduct the CPR and marunong gumamit ng automated external defibrillator or the AED. Okay? And ahead of time, dapat alam natin kung nasan yung location na. Okay? On the controlling electrical hazard administrative, yung mga electrical safety program natin, mga policy, yung mga legislation, mga proclamation, and the penalties itself. Dapat daw meron tayong safety program. The safety program, dapat meron tayong a separate na electrical safety program. Yung electrical safety program, no, dapat nandun yung procedure process natin on LOTO, yung tinatawag nating lockout, tagout, mga electrical system, permit system, mga PPE, okay, yung mga works job orientation natin, hazard risk evaluation, electrical audit. Then the management commit dapat yung zero lost time incident and lost time accident. Okay? So ito yung mga measurement natin. We need to regularly conduct toolbox meeting and attain for the continuous improvement. So meron tayong mga guide. Itong Philippine Electrical Code, we have part 1 and part 2. Okay? So ito ay based sa RA 7920, yung tinatawag nating New Electrical Engineering Law. So ito rin usually ang nagpapa-implement nito yung mga building officials and the regional office of the Department of Labor and Employment. Okay? So here naman may mga reference tayo, the OSHA standard itself, no, in implementation of safety, nandun din sa Rule 1210, yung electrical safety itself. Okay? So ito, yung OSHA standard natin, or call it the yellow book. Then also, part of the electrical kasi, nagse-celebrate ang, meron tinatawag na Electrical Safety Month. So meron tong declaration, no? Dineclare to nung panahon ni, I think, ni, ano siya, ni Pinoy, no? Ni President Aquino, na the month of May declared every year as the Electrical Safety Month. So nagkakaroon lang talaga ng awareness. All the IIEE itself, no, napakaraming mga activity ginagawa for the electrical safety awareness. Okay, ayan. Then meron ding handbook, okay, sa electrical, okay, implementation of safety, okay, as a reference. So here naman, meron yung sa based on the RA 7920 rin, ayan. Ito yung bago natin ngayon, no? Yung DO 252. Okay? Itong DO 252 is bagong version to, no? Bagong IRR ng RA 11058 natin. Na supersede niya itong DO 198 at saka yung DO 13. So dito naman, nire-required lang dito yung ilang safety officer ba yung kailangan natin. So it depends, no? Kung first, pag sinabi nating micro is 1 to 10 workers lang. Okay? Yung establishment mo, it depends on low, medium, large risk. So karamihan, SO1 lang o SO2. The SO1, mga 8 hours ano lang yon, training. SO2, 40 hours training. SO3 may advance. SO4 may accreditation na siya and medyo marami na yung advance. Okay? So micro, yan ang requirement. Sa small establishment, yung 10 to 99 workers, no? So kung makikita natin, pagka large na yung risk level natin, medyo kailangan na natin ng SO2. Okay? Then medium, 100 to 199 employees. Okay? Then yung large natin, 200 to 500 employees and more. Yung safety officer, ang duty niya to oversee the overall management of the OSH program. Siya yung nagpapa-implement. Okay? Siya yung mismong umiikot sa site, no? Nag-check siya yung secretary niya ng Occupational Safety and Health Committee natin. Okay? So ito naman, may mga penalties. Pagka meron tayong mga violations, so provided pa rin ng IRR, na DO 252, so may mga penalties yan. Wala kang safety officer, wala kang first aider, okay? So hindi ka nagpa-implement ng mga toolbox meeting natin or job orientation, there's some corresponding penalty. Okay? Ito namang Philippine Electrical Code, meron din requirement to based on the RA 7920 ng ano bang personnel ang kailangan. No? Dapat pagka ang operation natin up to 500 kVA, so kailangan lang natin kahit registered master electrician, okay, or the RME. Okay? Pagka ano naman, pagka mababa sa 500 kVA, no? Pagka mataas sa kVA, yan, pero nating registered electrical engineer or the professional electrical engineer. So it depends. So meron din yun. Kaya lang malaman natin yung operation natin para malaman natin din kung ano talaga yung electrical practitioner natin na i-assign dyan. Okay? Ayan. Please naman dito sa Republic Act na to, may mga penalty yan. Any person who shall violate of any of the provision, okay, merong not less than 10,000 but not more than 50,000 or imprisonment for a period of not less than 6 months nor than 5 years or both at the discretion of the court. Okay? The last one, controlling the personal protective equipment. This is the last defense, no? Based din sa DO 252, binibigay ng employer na libre, free of charge, no? Wala siyang hindi sinisingil sa empleyado. So we need to determine ano ba yung related sa mga electrical works natin dito, no? From the head protection, hearing protection, under arm protection, okay, torso protection, eye and eyes protection, respiratory, foot and fall protection. Okay? So ito yung mga requirement natin, okay, for the full body protection. So dapat tingnan din natin yung type na hard hat na kailangan natin if working on different voltages. Okay? Kasi may different classes. Ano ba yung kailangan natin? Working in a substation, medyo mataas yun. Okay? So dapat yung hard hat natin na ginagamit ng ating mga workers or personnel ay dapat depende ron sa voltahe na ginagawan natin. Okay? Then ito yung PPE, yung pinakita ko kanina, this is the ARC Plus workers. This is the ARC Plus suit, no? Depende siya sa category. May category 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this will be based on the computation kung ano yung lumabas. So ito yung pinaka-guide niya kung ano magiging category and what is the minimum protection. Okay? Kasi meron yung category 1, kaya niya yung 4 calorie per cm squared, no? So pagka sa computation natin, medyo pagka 8, pag ang computation mo ron 5, kailangan mo na ng category. Lumampas ka na sa 4. So ito lang yung reference. Okay, including yung hand protection natin. So depende rin to, depende sa voltahe, yung rubber gloves natin na ginagamit sa electrical. Okay? So yan, yung mga foot protection din yan. Okay? Mga face protection, hearing protection. Okay, now ano bang gagawin natin in case of emergency? What are the proper steps for responding to an electrical accident? Di ba? Yeah. So step 1, you need to turn off the power. Okay? Then step 2, safely free the victim. Kailangan hindi natin hawakan. No? Step 3, call for help. Step 4, don't leave the victim para pag dumating na yung help, sasabi natin kung ano yung nangyari. Okay? Ayan. Turn off the power. Dapat ahead of time pag magtatrabaho tayo sa isang area, alam na natin kung nasan yung power na yun. Kasi di ba the best talaga is isolate. Di ba? Okay? Then after doon, if you cannot find the emergency off, dapat huwag natin i-attempt na safely free the victim by our hand. Baka kailangan natin ng other equipment or yung mga hindi conductive. Okay? Usually hook, di ba? Para lang maihiwalay natin siya. Okay? Then pick up the phone, call for help. Dapat alam natin ahead of time yung mga emergency number. Then stay with the victim until help arrives. Then inform the people in the area in order to avoid further incidents. Ayan. So kami, sa electrical po, meron lang kaming mga sumpa ng tagpagtaguyod na kaligtasan sa kuryente. Ayan, bibigyan naman namin kayo ng kopya nito. No? So ito, pwede natin i-promote din sa ating mga workers itself, lalo na yung dealing with the electrical works natin. Ito yung Tagalog at meron naman yung English. And I'm an electrical safety advocate. Okay? Hello?
Hello, thank you very much, Engineer Lito, for that very informative discussions. I am sure na marami pong natutunan ang ating tagapanood at kahit po ako na marami ring natutunan. Kaya simula ngayon, pwede na natin i-check yung mga lugar pagawaan natin kung safe ba ang ating electrical power supply na ginagamit. Ngayon po, to continue, at this point, we will start answering the questions submitted during today's presentation. Sa may mga pahabol po ng mga katanungan, maaari nyo pong i-type sa ating comment section. Ito po yung una nating katanungan, Engineer Lito, para sa based on PEC, pwede po ba pag-required ng directory panel?
Yes po, kasama po yun. That we need to, yung pag-required ng directory ng panel. So nandun yun, dapat yung panel natin, nandun din yung mga voltahe at yung mga branches natin. Dapat we properly identify. Okay, para po, syempre, kung properly identified din yung ating mga panel, yung ating mga branches, mga circuit breaker, every time we do the repair or sabi nga natin meron tayong aayusin, hindi na tayo manghuhula kung ano yung i-off natin. Kasi para hindi ma-disrupt yung other operation, lalo na pag offices, di ba? Kasi alam naman natin, the most common yan, ang design yan, hiwalay ang ilaw, hiwalay yung breaker mismo ng ng mga outlet. So doon pa lang, kaya nasa Philippine Electrical Code din po yan na we need to be properly identify yung ating merong mga markings dapat yung ating mga electrical equipment.
Yes po. Thank you. Para po sa ikalawang katanungan, Sir, ang R plus po ba ay nangyayari po ba sa low, medium, or high voltage?
Actually sir, ano yan So nangyayari sir sa ano yan sa lahat, no? The low, the mid and high. Kasi may computation yan So the computation start with the short circuit calculation. So dun sa short circuit calculation, bago ka maka-compute ng R plus, dapat nakapagpanda ka ng short circuit calculation. Now, one of the requirement naman din na inaano sa plano, no? Pagka ngayon lahat ng electrical plan natin dapat ano na siya kasama na ron sa ang short circuit calculation. So ito, ang R plus siya, nangyayari siya doon sa mismo. Yun nga lang, baka yung computation natin, medyo maliit lang yung category, kaya makikita natin ano bang PPE yung pinakakailangan natin.
Yes po, thank you. Para po sa ating katlong katanungan, what is the best option electrical wires to use here in the Philippines aside from PELP Dodge po? Uy, parang ano to?
Oo nga. Actually, napakarami naman po yan. Napakaraming mga manufacturer, no? And that manufacturer, hindi naman po yan lalabas sa market. And make sure na hindi naman dumaan doon sa ating testing, no? Alam naman natin, medyo alam ko yung sinasabi yung brand, medyo kumbaga high-end siya or ganon, or safety. So, maano naman po natin yan. Ma-determine naman natin. Siguro pinaka-the best, kung talagang gusto nyong bumili, you compare it, meron kayong quote, that's the same thing din po, pag-aralan ninyo yung specs mismo at ano ba ang kailangan ninyo, saan nyo pa siya ilalagay. Kasi merong tinatawag na wet area, di ba? Kung sa loob pa siya, sa labas. So yun po yung pinaka-importante. Now, kung may mga kontrata naman, pagka kayo na may mga kontraktor, mangyayari po yun, kung ano po yung nakalagay doon sa plano ng designer. So yun po yung susundin natin. Minsan, pagka private firm po, nakalagay na kung ano ang gagamitin. Kasi it follows, no? Kung ano yung gagamitin mong wire, titingnan mo ulit doon, it follows yung ating mga contour. Kaya marami naman sir, hindi lang yan. Hindi, ako, nung ang dami ko rin mga ginamit na iba-iba brand sir.
Yes po, thank you. Para po sa ating pang-apat na katanungan, safe po ba ang dry chemical fire extinguisher sa switchgear fires?
Okay. Actually sir, ang chemical fire kasi, dry chemical fires, we call it the ABC. So, okay naman to sir. Kaya lang meron tayong talagang specific pang electrical. Kasi kung makikita natin tong fire extinguisher natin, kaya nito ang type ABC. So sa C tayo yung electrical natin on the C. Pero meron namang talagang pagka medyo mga switchgear na, mas maganda talagang ang type ng natin ng fire extinguisher natin is yung pang electrical talaga. Pero okay, yan, yung dry chemical natin, fire ABC, okay po siya.
Yes po, thank you, Engineer Lito. Para po sa ating palimang katanungan, gaano po kaya kalayo ang distance ng electrical post at diesel tank? At pwede po bang medyo malapit yung distance ng diesel tank and electrical power post.
Actually, sir, ano to na, kung if we will analyze lang, kung ano ba yung nandun sa electrical post mo, kasi kung actually, ano na to, sir, hazard assessment na tayo no? Kung saan mo ilalagay. Kung may poste ka, kung sakaling nag-spark siya, di ba, sir?
Opo.
Aabot ba doon sa ilalim? So yun yung ano, alam naman natin na yung diesel natin or any ano natin dyan, baka pwedeng maging ano siya, no? Mag-create ng fire, di ba? So the best, sir, is talagang ilayo na natin. There's no such diesel, ano yan magkakaroon lang tayo ng ano, sir, assessment lang natin. Kasi yun ang assessment natin Kung doon sa taas ng poste mo, may fuse ka ron, cut out ka, na alam natin maki-spark. O kaya malapit din naman lagi sa may puno, tapos laging na ano siya ng puno, nagkikreate ng spark. So, medyo ilalayo na natin, sir. Yun yung isang ano natin, determinant na natin when we assess the hazard. Kaya maganda, sir, ilayo.
Yes po, sigurado mas maganda po ilayo para hindi mag-create ng hazards doon sa mismong tangke. Yes po, ito po ang pang-anim na katanungan. Yung static electricity po, paano po mawala o ma-reduce?
Ito po bang, pag sinabi kasi static ba, ito po ba yung pagka medyo parang may nahawakan kang ano,
Na kuryente siguro,
bagay,
gano'n?
tapos biglang, kahit na yung doon sa grocery, no? Diba? Kasi, ang usually po, depende kasi sa ano siya sa humidity, no? Sa ganon. So the best pa rin po talaga dyan is to, kung sinasabi lang natin the normal static di ba? Yung sa mga ano na yan, kasi nagkakaroon ng friction habang tayo naglalakad, it depends, no? Yung nga, kung nasa carpet ba yan, nasa ano, create. So, usually, kung if we will address everything, sir, grounding. Yung
Yes,
ano
opo.
natin, naka-grounding talaga tayo. Yun yung ano niya. Para talagang mawala o ma-reduce. The proper grounding and banding, sir. Ayan.
Yes po. Ito po. Sir, ask lang po kung paano po ang process kapag mag-apply ng certificate for electrical inspection kay DOLE. Uy, pwede po bang mag-apply ng electrical certificate installation kahit may wiring na po ang building or office? Tingnan natin kung familiar po si Sir.
Baka masagot mo yan, Sir Greg.
Yes po, sige po.
Pero
Saka,
usually ano yan yung part of the Philippine Electrical Code kasi, di ba, from the OBO. Tapos yung discussion natin on the Rule 1210, merong mga designated na municipality, pero meron naman yung sa DOLE. Yan, sige, Sir Greg, baka mas ano mo yan.
yes po, thank you, Engineer Lito. Pagdating po sa Certificate of Electrical wiring installations kay DOLE, pwede pong mag-apply yung ating mga industrial, mga power plant kahit po siya ay may existing na. Kung siya po ay hindi covered ng chartered city, doon po sa aming regional office o field office, pwede po silang mag-submit ng mga plano ng pwedeng i-cleared, tapos after ng clearance, i-evaluate po yan. Then, after ng evaluation, dadaan po sa aming mga professional engineers, mechanical, electrical. Then doon po lang po magkakaroon tayo ng inspection. After the inspection at walang noted deficiency, based po doon sa ating plano na sinubmit, doon pa lang po kayo i-issuehan ng Certificate of Electrical Inspection. Yes po.
Yan. Rule 1210 po yan.
Yes po. Rule 1210 ng ating Occupational Safety and Health
Safety and Health Standard. Ayan. Thank you, Sir Greg.
Yes po. Next po, malamang wala na pong katanungan.
Thank you.
Ngayon po, maraming salamat po, Engineer Lito, at maraming salamat din sa lahat ng nag-submit ng questions. Kung mayroon po kaming hindi nasagot ngayon, rest assured po na ang aming social media team ay sasagutin ang inyong inquiries mamaya. And siyempre po, Engineer Lito, do you have any final reminder or thoughts to bring home that would like to leave to our Facebook Live viewers?
Okay, so once again, thank you very much for this opportunity to share some ideas. Alam ko, medyo short yung oras, no? Kasi kung pag-uusapan natin talaga itong electrical safety, napakalawak talaga nito. No? Actually, yung last talk ko about this, more than 2 hours, ano pa rin, orientation. But kami naman sa IIEE, we continue advocating electrical safety. Nagpapap kami lagi sa mga barangay. No? So para i-orient din natin yung ating mga constituent natin. And mostly, ito nga, with this, sana ano rin, the employer itself and the worker itself, magtulungan tayo to sabi nga, safety is everybody's concern. And electrical safety start with us. So it start with me. So doon pa lang kung ma-advocate natin yun, sabi nga natin, napakalaki yung percentage na lahat tayo magiging safe. Itong mga natututunan natin, even in our offices, in other establishment, we can also adapt it dito sa bahay natin. We need to practice ito. Hindi ito po pwedeng, sabi natin, we need to walk the talk, no? Kung at saka yung kung ano yung ini-implement natin in any establishment, gawin din natin sa ating mga residential. So kailangan sa ating magsisimula mismo yung safety. So electrical safety start. Thank you very much and good afternoon.
Yes po, ngayon po, meron po kaming announcement lang po. Ang next episode po ng Webinar Wednesday will be held next week, August 13, 2025. Ito po ay patungkol sa workplace technical safety, mechanical equipment installations. You may also send us an email at askbwc.dole.gov.ph or call our Dole hotline 1349. Again, please follow us at Dole BWC 1949 on Facebook, X, formerly Twitter, YouTube, and Viber to stay up to date with the latest announcement and activities from BWC and Dole. I-share na rin po ninyo ang mga video na ito sa inyong mga friends, family, and colleagues. At huwag kalimutang gamitin ang hashtag Webinar Wednesdays para sa mas marami pang maging inform sa mga programa ng BWC, Dole at kanilang mga attached agencies para sa kapakanan ng ating manggagawang Pilipino. On behalf of the Bureau of Working Conditions, maraming salamat po sa inyong pakikiisa. See you sa ating susunod na episodes. Once again, this is Engineer Gorgonio Embelio, your moderator, now signing off.
Para sa mga katanungan at karagdagang impormasyon, maaari po tayong tumawag sa Dole Hotline 1349 o sumambuni sa mga Dole Regional Field Office na nakakasakop sa inyong lugar paggawa.